Hey guys, Color Out Camper Man here. So it is the middle of May and I'm getting my truck camper ready for a trip coming up, and I'm doing a little bit of maintenance here on my truck camper as well as my travel trailer. So the video that I'm going to be showing you here today is how to properly maintain your deep cycle battery. So in the video here I'm going to show you guys how to top your batteries off with distilled water. So within your deep cycle battery there is distilled water, which I'll show you guys how to do. And you do not want that water level to drop below your plates within your battery. If that does happen, your battery really isn't going to last much longer. It's not going to charge as long or as fast, and you're just not going to see what you should out of your battery. So this is a very important maintenance thing to do. The older your battery is, the more you're going to need to do this, the more frequently you need to do it. Also, if you have a solar setup, since your battery charges up, then goes down, then charges up, the frequency of that can make you need to do this more. Also, if you're connected to AC power, you may need to do this a lot more as well. And the very important thing here is that you're using distilled water, because normal tap water has a lot of minerals within the water that distilled water does not have. So I'm going to show you guys all the materials that you're going to need to do this, and then we'll get going. So here are the materials that you will need for this project. Distilled water, obviously your battery. You may need a pair of needle nose pliers, a flathead screwdriver, a pair of safety goggles, a funnel, a rag, some plastic gloves. And you don't necessarily need this, but if you want to check the voltage, it does help a voltage meter. So the first step in this project is to make sure that your battery is fully charged. So since this battery is hooked up to my solar panel, this is my little charge controller. This light is flickering because it is actually shutting the charging off because the battery is so charged. And right now, we are sitting at 13.41 volts on this battery, so we are definitely fully charged. So step 2 in this project is to remove your battery from your camper. In my case, since I do have a solar panel, I need to go ahead and jump up on the roof, block off the solar panel, and then remove all my wires. So if you have a solar panel, you're going to need to do the same thing as well. Alright, so now that I got my solar panel all blocked off, I'm going to go ahead and remove all my wires here. So I mounted this battery in here myself, so one thing that I did do to make sure that I could take this thing out nice and easy is I put this little bracket on here. I only put one screw in here. That way I can just kind of move it out, and then boom, my battery comes out nice and easy. Alright, so here's our battery here that we have in our camper. We've actually had this battery for a while. We've had this since 2012, and it's been a great battery. I mean, here it is 2015 going into our 4th season, and it's still plugging away. So we're going to go ahead and remove these caps. So this is where you're going to want to put on your safety goggles as well as your gloves. Alright, so we got our goggles on, we got our gloves on. We're going to grab our rag and then our flathead screwdriver. And the purpose of the rag is mainly just to get any dirt and debris kind of off and around. I mean, my battery's pretty clean here. You know, if your battery's on the outside of your camper, it might be a different story. But then we're going to go ahead and just pop off these lids. And you just want to take your screwdriver, just real nice and easy, pry it off. Because you don't want this acid splashing up on your hands or your eyes or whatnot. You're going to go ahead and take it off there. And then you want to inspect and check the level of your cells. So now that we have both of our covers off, we're going to inspect the level of the water and acid in each of our cells. And it actually looks like our levels are pretty good, not bad. But we're going to go ahead and top these off with the distilled water. So this is where we're going to use our funnel now. Put our funnel in the cell. Grab our distilled water. Go ahead and add it top it off. So this is how much of a gallon we used. So probably about 1/5 of a gallon of water we added to here. So at first they didn't look too empty, but now that I look at the gallon jug, that's a pretty decent amount of water. So now we're just going to go ahead and put our caps back on here and then put our battery back on into our camper. So here's the battery for a jet ski. We're helping my mother-in-law sell her old jet ski, and you can see how low the level is here. This level should be up here. So between the top and the bottom, it's all the way down here. So this battery definitely needs it, and it may actually almost be too late. But we're going to go ahead and fill it and hope that this battery is still good. All right, so we got our battery back here in the camper. It's all filled up. Got it hooked back up to the solar panel. Then we removed the blanket that we had off of the solar panel, and we're back charging again. So you want to do this as frequent or as often as I've heard, up to 30 days or every 30 days. So again, it really depends on how you're using your battery. If you have solar, you're going to want to check it more. If you're using AC a lot and again your battery is going up and down, you want to check it often. Or if it's really hot out, I've heard that you want to check it often too. So check it as often as you want. Once a quarter is probably a really good idea. If you do find that it is low or it is an older battery, try to do this a lot more often and just make sure that you keep that water level topped off there. So thank you guys for checking out the video here today. If you have any questions about anything, just feel free to put them in the comments below. Otherwise, thank you guys for checking out the video. Please subscribe, and we'll see you later.